Yeah, obviously a tough day. The second half, I should say, and give LSU all the credit. Obviously, we knew it was going to be a four-quarter game, and they were able to survive in advance and take advantage of some things in the final stages there. From an injury standpoint, before we even took off, we obviously C.J. O'Grady just wasn't quite. He tried to go a little bit earlier in the week, wasn't able to run full go, so I left him behind, and then also. Dede had a shoulder injury that he had at the end of last week. He wasn't able to put himself out there. So those two guys, then during the course of the game, obviously Yelda, they went back and x-rayed a couple different times. They were worried about, obviously, any type of lower leg injury there, but it came back negative, so they allowed him to get back out there and play. Austin Cantrell, I just think he tried to go, and bless his heart, I don't think he could go to the speed that we had to play out there today to come back in. And then Ty Clary I think hopefully the initial report is just an MCL strain. I don't think we'll have to do further tests tomorrow to find out exactly where that's at. So Dre Coley, thought we were going to get something out of him, but just still not quite there to be out there on the field yet. So hopefully get those guys back for this week. As far as Austin and Cole, unfortunately last Saturday during the course of the game, Cole came in on Sunday. His whole foot was pretty discolored and had a pretty significant turf toe. Nothing structurally damaged that needed a surgery or anything like that. But at that point, didn't know if he was going to be able to play this week. So we knew Austin from Sunday forward was our starting quarterback. Cole did a nice job of getting in rehab. He did take about half the reps on Wednesday, but couldn't go Thursday, couldn't go Friday. Got himself in a position that he could go today, but Austin was our starter all week, and obviously some things he had to work through out there. I give him a lot of credit for battling himself back. He took a lot on him this week, and to get himself in a position he didn't know one day if he was ever going to get a chance to play again. So to get back out there was a big deal for him, and then to put Cole in at the end. Even though he hadn't practiced, there's one thing Cole can do. He can run 2 minutes and sling it around pretty good. So I thought just kind of there in the fourth quarter, been there, done that the last couple of weeks, try to go back to him. And obviously the situations he's been in, I thought we'd lean on that and try to get some spark at the end. And that's why we did it. But nothing from a benching Austin or anything like that. Just want to give a good guy that had been there a second chance. So.
Did Austin's shoulder affect his downfield pass?
I would say that, he's for 3 weeks, you've seen his shoulder keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I thought Wednesday in practice in particular looked really, really strong. Some of the throws that weren't there today were there on Wednesday. Thursday we did our normal routine, and of course Friday we don't do much. So I think maybe that with the conjunction of getting into play action or into the actual live action today, there was a couple post plays we wish we would have hit, and just a tough spot, but he's a tremendous competitor, and obviously didn't work out. Bob, I think first, you worry about all positions when someone's taking that much. He'd been out for 4 weeks, really, and you never know how they're going to respond, but then especially the quarterback, and every move he makes is so critical to your offensive success, but the way it unfolded, that we knew Cole wasn't going to be able to go, it kind of allowed us to prepare him all week as a starter. And I think, we played well in the first half, but as that thing wore, as we got further into the game, maybe that's what began to happen, break down a little bit, the strength of the arm and the accuracy.
You had some field position issues in the first half. How do you think you managed that overall?
Well, you take the first one. Obviously, I knew the sun was going to be a factor. I talked about it this morning in our team meeting. Talked to the returners, had the officials come up and talked to all of our returners before the game about how to use to not be classified as a fair catch. Sorry, whatever that happens. But they did respond. Offensively, we that's it's just another sign for the day. We got it out of there, but really all day, even there in the fourth quarter, that last punt. We had some stuff in the return game, but to give them credit, their punter did a nice job of putting us inside the 10. The what? Positives. Well, I think that our guys, and I know you guys interview them, they do have great resiliency and their preparation this week. They're very spirited in practice. we really played out the boot. Obviously, I think you don't have to be from Arkansas or Louisiana to play for the boot. It's about the Razorbacks and the Tigers, and our guys are really into it. I really, at the end of the half there, to get the stops off, defense played their tails off first half, and then to get the touchdown there right before the end of the half, thought halftime made some nice adjustments. In theory, we were making some good things happen, and again, I think when we came out that second half, when we got that defense score, it was really tough to swing that mojo back. But
Bret, on the touchdown pass to Jar, did the cornerback have him man-to-man all the way down?
You talking about the one over there with Cam? Yeah. I think there were two big plays that that one in particular, I think, was he gave him a slight stutter move and then got him beat over the top. And again, their quarterback did a nice job of executing. But that one in particular, I think I don't want to say until we see the film. I think he was a little bit out of position before the ball was snapped, which led to the downfall. Another positive, I guess, Ty Clary, who's been the guys that stepped up for the guys that got injured today. I thought Will Gregg came in and competed, didn't back down, and I thought Ty Clary, until he got hurt, hopped in there and did some good things too.
Tough game for him, just kind of not his game with him.
Yeah, we've done a lot of things during the course of the week to try to get him in. I believe at halftime that I know Reg came over to me and said that he thought the two older backs were doing a little bit better in the course of the game and how it unfolded right before the half. So. TJ's a good player. He'll get his opportunities and in other phases of the game as well, and got a lot of football in front of him.
Given the field position issues in the first half, to come off 7-7,
yeah.
I was asking, what did you think of being able to come off 7-7?
Yeah, I agree. We battled and scraped and clawed, and it wasn't a pretty first half, but it was a 7-7 game coming out, and again, we get that last score. You felt good about the momentum being on your side, and really talked it up in the locker room about making a stop on defense, but obviously they took the momentum right out of us that first drive, and we never really got it back.
Bret, it looked like the players had a lot of energy ready to
play
the game. Despite the loss, 2 games left, a chance to get bowl eligible. What's the message?
Well, I know everybody kind of wants to say that, we're a 4-6 team that's going to try to get to 5 wins, and then obviously the next week try to go from there. But the only thing we can do at this point, and it's really the same thing in our program, whether we're after a win or loss, is focus on the week ahead. Going to have a lot of guys step up. Some of these guys, I don't know if they'll be able to play this coming week, so new guys step into those roles and take advantage of the opportunity that they have. And to have these last 2 games at home, I think is big. I really think the opportunity to be at home, play in front of our home crowd, be in front of their family and friends is big.
What was the plan defensively to try and stop guys?
Yeah, we did some things up front that were different, and obviously worked well for us in the first half. Obviously, they have been able to run the football, not with just him, but also 28. They've done a pretty good job of running the football on everybody, even Alabama. So we again held up, but we didn't hold up long enough. I thought they did do a couple change ups with 18 in the backfield, lining up as a fullback, some things that were a little bit different that. Gave us some fits, but made good adjustments. Yeah. Well, the thing I liked about Scooter is, ever since high school film, he's very, very intuitive. He's on high school film he was a quarterback, he was a middle linebacker. He just instinctively has a lot of skill sets that I think are the more he's ingrained to it. Now he's 10 games into it as a starter. He's really seeing things well before the snap. He's by far our best communicator. Dre is out there playing the other inside position, but Scooter by far is a guy that kind of sets the front, makes all the calls, makes all the adjustments. What I like about him, when it comes to the sideline, he gives you the real answers. He's not going to try to find a hole or cower down. He tells you right, wrong, or indifferent what happened out there and what he saw and what he said. Yeah, I think I know he's frustrated. I know he gave a pregame speech to the team about being back out on the field with those guys, being able to play with them again. At one point this year, he didn't know if that was going to be the case, and now you're looking at a senior that's got 2 games at home. Obviously, Fayetteville has been his home for a long time. He's got a tremendous feeling for this university, for Arkansas, and I have a hard time believing he won't take today's learning experiences and try to play the best 2 games of his career here at the end.
Sometimes when things aren't going good for any team in any sport, talk about the coach, is he losing the team? But it looks like your guys, even with these losses, they're still
after giving it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel good that you haven't lost?
I do, but I don't really think about it that way. I understand the question. I know this. I care a lot for our players. I know that they care a lot about each other. And when things don't go well, the worst thing you can do is leave these experiences behind you. Don't learn from them. I know they're tremendous heartache and pain, and it's not good for everybody involved. But there's some things that you're going to learn along the way, and at some point there's going to be a positive to it. Whether it's next week or next month or whatever it is, they got to take these hard things to swallow and hopefully come out at a better day in the end at some point down the road. But again, we got good kids. They fight. They're going to continue to battle for one another. And again, these last two games at home, I think, is big.
Let's talk about the frustration in big play. Defense
Yeah.
plays well.
Yeah.
Today you give up a 68,
Two big ones.
and a 33-yard line.
Yeah. Again, one of the things I stressed last night, it might be the 6th play of the first quarter. It might be the 12th play of the second quarter, the 7th play of the third quarter, whatever it might be KOR. Every play matters. And on defense, when we give up big plays, it defeats all those other ones in between. And I know we got some young guys that are going to get better with time. But, again, if you get yourself – they weren't going fast pace or anything, so probably one of the few games in college football anymore where two teams huddle and execute offensively. So, frustrating.
Coach, what are you doing in this tough time for personal motivation? Like when you're not away from the team, what are you doing to keep yourself motivated?
That's really probably not an issue. I get the question, but I want to win as bad as anybody. It consumes my every day. I guess you get in a good book, for personal time. Recruiting, make sure your players are right. It really does. It hurts you as a coach when you see your players hurt. Not just physically, but emotionally. You want them, especially seniors, some guys that came in and started with me. They're in their 5th year, and your heart goes out to them because you know how much they put into it. But on the same account, we want to win football games, and that's what we got to do. That's what I'm paid to do, and that's what we have to do. And to go through these times, we've had some things work against us, but we got to keep coming back to work. I don't have time to do that, I guess, more than less.